Alright, we are back for another Sigmar painting tutorial, and today we're doing Greywater Fastness. This is the, at least historically, it was the shooting slash dwarf one, I think? I could be wrong about that. But what I'm not wrong about is we're starting with yellow, specifically Bad Moon Yellow. And this is for the field of the shield here. Let me get my brush wet first. It's always good to start with contrast with a wet brush, or at least a moist, damp brush, not necessarily wet, depending on how you want to think about it. But in any event, I'm just painting in the wood here, this color. The example on the community site is sort of a color that doesn't really exist in contrast paint. So we're going to try to replicate it as best we can by adding a couple colors on top of this Bad Moon Yellow. And kind of with all of these, we're never going to get, well, for one, we're not spending the time to get a heavy metal level paint job, which is what these shields were painted by, at least the ones I'm working off of. But we're also never going to get it even exactly on the colors because we're doing it a completely different way. But we're going to get close, I think, and that's the point. We're also going to go very fast. So I will let this dry, and then we will come back and do the second color. Alrighty, so our next step is going to be to combine two colors. And that's going to be not this color. That's going to be Skeleton Horde Contrast and Reichland Flesh Shade Wash. So I'm going to open both of these so they're ready for me. And then I'm going to start with a wet brush. And then I'm going to go for Skeleton Horde first. I'm just going to brush that all over this. There we go. And then I'm going to soak some of this up. It's a little too heavy in some of these corners. There we go. Then I'm going to take this Reichland Flesh Shade and just come up near the edges here and in the divisions between the boards here. A little too heavy on there. Get in there. And then in the little scars on the wood itself. Just kind of sort of where non-wooden things meet the wood. That's where I'm putting this, and then as well where the divisions of the wood are. And there we go. I think I'm happy with that. We may come back and put a little bit of Agrax on there, but I'm not sure. But in any event, I'm going to let this dry, and then we will come back and do the next color. Alright, we're back again, and again we're going to use two colors here. So we're going to use Apothecary White and Skeleton Horde. So we're going to start with Apothecary White, and I'm actually going to open the Skeleton Horde at the same time, just like last time. Have them ready to go. We're going to start with the Apothecary. I'm just going to put this all over the diamond here in the middle. And then rinse my brush off and get a little bit of Skeleton Horde. And I just want to get it on the bottom half of this. So then I'm going to rinse my brush off again with a wet brush with no paint on it. I'm just going to feather them into each other. So we want it more grayish white towards the top and more brown towards the bottom. Kind of an unnecessary step. You could just make it Apothecary White and call it a day. But I think that that looks similar-ish to what it looks like on the website, so that's what we'll go with. But for now, we're going to go straight into our next color. That's going to be Broadsword Silver. Give it a good shake and get some out on a palette here. And this is just going to be for the main metallic color. We'll come back and do the rivets and bolts and all that with a lighter silver, but we'll start with this. So I'll do all this on all the silver. I will let all of it dry. And then we will come back, paint those rivets, do a little bit of weathering, and this shield will be done. Alright, we're back, and our first silver is all nice and dry. Now, we're going to go into our second silver, which is polished silver. And we're going to put this on all the rivets, screws, bolts, whatever they are. I think I put the wrong paint out on the... I think I put more of the same color out, so let me get the actual color we need here. Maybe not. Maybe this is just darker than I thought it was. Just may not be giving us much of a difference. That's okay. We're gonna put wash around these rivets in a second anyway. So I may have just put my broadsword silver on thinner than I usually do, and so it's a little bit lighter. But yeah, I'm going to let those rivets dry and then come back, put a little bit of that same Reichland flesh shade we put on the shield around those rivets, and then we'll put the transfer on and it'll be done. Alrighty, we're back, and like I said, we're now moving on to Reichland flesh shade again. And we're just going to put a little bit of this around the rivets, or the bolts, or the screws, or whatever you want to call them. Just to put like a little bit of the grime around them that would collect, but in the same sort of weathering color that we used on the yellow. We want to put it on thick enough that it actually shows up on this silver. There we go. Over here as well. And if you're not happy with how subtle this is, you could also do like Gorgrunta hide, Gorgrunta fur, whatever it's called, the contrast paint. That would you'd get a real pop from that. I don't want it that heavy, but if you wanted it darker, that's what I would recommend. Just going back over them one more time. And then I'm just gonna, right where this metal meets the diamond here, I'm just gonna do a, there we go. All right, so right about now, right over here, you should be seeing the finished product with the transfer on it, all ready to go. Thank you everybody for watching. If you like the video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.